Have you seen Nolensville recently? It is on fire with growth. Word has gotten out about the community and people are moving here. You've got the new town center going on, complete with the grocery, specialty shops and services. People are loving it. I am here to show you an example of how you, yourself, can be closer to it. My name is Sean Larson, real estate broker here in Middle Tennessee and the 38 Florida market, and I am out here to show you today 1005 Brittain Downs Drive, and that is right here in the Brittain Downs community in Nolensville. It is a spectacular home. It's over 3,700 square feet. You've got 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. You've got the primary bedroom on the main. You've got a backyard that backs up to community-owned space, and I tell you, it looks like a park back there. The home has been meticulously maintained inside. It is turnkey. So if you're looking for a home and you're not looking for a punch list, you need to check this one out. It is incredible inside. Again, my name is Sean Larson, and I'm about to give you a tour of 1005 Brittain Downs Drive. Let's go. That yard is something else. Looks like a park. Okay, you've got all your mechanicals over here, your HVACs, you've got your meter box over there, your main panel coming into the home. Everything's easily accessible, and you know that helps keep everything clean too. And that just contributes so much toward maintenance. Not only the actual maintenance, but actually wanting to do the maintenance. Because, you know, if you have HVAC units that are buried somewhere, a lot of times people don't want to crawl through there because it's kind of intimidating. They're like, I don't want all the trees and everything all over me. Look how easily accessible that is. Nice. Okay, in case you're wondering, because, you know, people relocate to our area from everywhere. Let me give you a couple notes here now that I notice them. This is a foundation vent, and what it does is it allows air to flow underneath the home in the crawl space. Now, sometimes people are relocating from our area, from areas where most of their homes are built on slabs, so they don't have crawl spaces. But this allows the air to flow beneath the home unless it's encapsulated. That's kind of a whole other video, but just a note, that's what those are. While we're here, right next to it, let me just show you this. See that gap in the brick? Occasionally I'll be showing homes and somebody will comment, oh, they must have missed the mortar there. Nope, that's a weep hole. And what that is brick is not actually structural on a home. It's decorative. And there's actually a gap of about 1.5 to 2 inches between the brick and the actual framing of your home. And you don't want moisture to get caught back there. So you put these weep holes that if water gets on the back side of the brick, it can actually run out, but then it also doubles as a vent hole. So air can go in there, up the gap behind the brick, and then out the eave of your home. So it actually creates like a soft current through that gap that also helps moisture escape. But occasionally people will think the mortar was missed there, and that's not what that is. See, just trying to give you these educational things about a home. When you go out and look, you're going to look like a pro. Beautiful brick job on there. Love those doors. I really like that clear glass at the top. Love that. Okay, so we're going to pop inside this one, give you an extensive tour through it. And as you know from watching the videos, you know, it's not about just, hey, let's look at the fancy stuff and the highlights of the home. I try to give you an extensive tour and even interject some tidbits that make you a better home buyer and a better home owner. So let's go in and check this one out. What a perfect entryway that is. Look at that. Got your lantern, got your stained beadboard, crown molding. Have your transom glass up there, your side lights, your wood front door. And look at that. You immediately see the paint color that everybody's going to. How convenient is that, right? You know, years ago we went on the trend where, you know, kind of, I won't say bold colors were in, but, you know, there was a lot of color on the walls, and that still has its place, and it's still a lot of people's preference. So this is just kind of expressing what is popular and not necessarily a personal preference. You know, the colors kind of got muted a little bit. A lot of people went with white interiors that were just solid white, and those are still greatly popular as well. But you're starting to see kind of a shift a little bit where people want some warmth back. And so this color just nails it. It's kind of a light sand color. If you notice, the white trim just complements it perfectly. It kind of highlights the trim. In some home designs, it's good, to have the wall color and the trim all blend together, and it just fits the theme for a particular home. But a lot of homes, you want that to contrast a little bit. You want to, kind of point out and show, the trim off. How nice is the base molding and the crown molding. And speaking of molding, okay, this is just my personal go-to. There is absolutely no science to this. But when I review a home, I tend to look a lot at the base molding. Not only the size of it, but the condition of it. And again, no science to this. But I kind of think if base molding is in pretty good condition, because see, base molding encounters a lot. If you have a lot of activity in your family, you've got vacuuming going on. If you have a central vac, you've got that hose that's kind of moving around. A lot can hit base molding. So for me, I kind of look at base molding, and if base molding is in really good condition, for me, I kind of think, wow, that person might have taken really good condition of the whole home. Got your dining there. Got your wainscoting on the walls there. One thing about dining rooms, when you look at the space, that table, if you look how wide this dining room is, you have plenty of options. You could put a large round table even in there. That's got 6 chairs there, but you could put another chair on each side. You could sit 8 there. You have a lot of options there. You could probably increase the capacity to probably 10, possibly more if you had just the right round table. And you're not only thinking, hey, can they sit down? But you also want to keep in mind, what happens when the chairs are pulled out? People need to navigate. This room has plenty of space for that. Kind of have a sideboard over here, if you want to serve from that or whatever you'd like to put there. Maybe even a small beverage area or whatever you like there. Another thing I look at, not only the base molding, but the floors. Floors can also be an indicator of how the home was used and what kind of care it received, and these are spectacular. And again, there's no science to it, but it just kind of gives you an idea of how it was cared for or how the home was used. So we come through just the short hallway. You have a coat closet on your right. You've got a powder on the left. And the nice thing about having a powder positioned right here is that it's just convenient, to all parts of the main level. So if you have guests going on, you have some entertainment, it's convenient here. But at the same time, it's out of the way a little bit. Kind of gives some privacy, which is perfect. Come through, you've got your breakfast nook or your informal dining. Look at that bay window looking out over the backyard. All right, we're going to point out some molding here. Look at the crown molding all throughout that. Isn't that nice? A couple things as long as we're on the ceiling. Kind of behind the light there, you've got audio, you've got speakers in the ceiling. The smaller dot to the left there in the ceiling is actually part of the sprinkler system for the house. So you've got kind of added security of having that sprinkler system in there. And then look at that kitchen. Look at all the storage, the cabinetry. And when you go in as many homes as we do, you see a diverse setup for kitchens. You see all sort of cabinet designs, you see different colors, you see different size islands. You see, you've got the double ovens. We see double ovens, you see the range, you see double ovens in the range. So we see a little bit of everything. And we know that everybody, kind of has a different opinion of what they want in a kitchen. But if you see a kitchen and you really love a home and there's something holding you back, don't think that can't be easily changed. We see a lot of homes with stained grade cabinets like these. We see a lot of homes with white cabinets. You even see some homes, where they've got the white cabinets and they might have, a dark island or something to kind of contrast it a little bit. So don't think that you can't easily make some changes to a kitchen. It doesn't mean you have to replace the cabinets. Keep in mind, cabinets are wood and they can be painted if somebody wants to flip-flop. Say if you have a dark stained grade kitchen and somebody wants white, or maybe they want to go trendy, they want to do maybe the base, in one color and the uppers in another. It's wood. It can be painted. If you do decide to paint cabinets though, make sure you use somebody who is experienced in painting cabinets. It's not quite the same as painting everything else, but it can still easily be accomplished. And these cabinet designs are just awesome. I mean, look at all the storage just on this one wall. And it's nice how, they're just not all surfaced the same way. You have a couple sets that are set back, and it just kind of adds to the design of the kitchen instead of just looking like you have a wall of cabinets. Plus, it opens up a couple spots there where you can put countertop. So you could be, have small appliances there, mixers, toasters, coffee makers. One of those could become like a small coffee station. Got your double ovens. And that's always something all of us talk about. Do you need double ovens? Well, you don't need double ovens, but I tell you, it sure is convenient when you've got them. And that doesn't matter if it's in the wall or if it's in a range or what have you. They are extremely convenient, even if it's for what people say, a couple times a year. But then other people entertain, and they use them all the time. Got your gas, 5-burner cooktop. Got your granite countertops. And there are so many different countertop types today. You've got granite, you've got quartz and quartzite. You've got all types of stuff. But, it really depends on what's going to contribute to the theme of the home. And this works just great with these cabinets. It might be maybe Venetian gold or something along those lines in terms of granite type. Beautiful kitchen. Plenty of storage. So we come back through the short hallway. We're going back toward the front of the home. Got your main staircase there. Short hallway. And here on the right, let's just dip into the garage here for a second just to show you that. A lot of people skip the garage sometimes when they show homes. And I'm like, no, we need to go look at that garage. But here you've got the laundry on the way to garage, which is super convenient. Because if people like to, whether you're dragging in, sports equipment or if they like to work outside and they're coming in, it's the perfect spot to go ahead and drop everything here in a utility and laundry room. So let's just take a peek at the garage while we're here. Okay, so my garage pitch is that not all garages are created equal. Okay, so if you look on MLS and you're looking at homes and you see maybe 2 or 3 car garage, whatever is listed, that doesn't mean they're the same. So I always encourage people to look at the garages. They can be different widths, they can be different depths, they can be different heights. And in terms of height, if you'll notice, this has a nice high ceiling in it. Car lifts are becoming kind of a popular thing now. And what a car lift is it is very similar to what they would have like in a repair shop, but instead it's used for storage. So what you do is you will install the car lift, you drive one car onto the lift, it lifts up, and you can park a second one underneath. Now that's probably not, super practical for daily drivers, but if somebody has a play car or a sports car or something like that, and they maybe use it, once a week or once a month, it's perfect for that. And the car lifts aren't that expensive, and so what you do is you just lift the one car up and park under it. But you have to have the right ceiling height for it, and this just looks perfect for that. So let's just go down and take a quick look at the garage. I'm going to show you one thing on the way because I love pointing out details on homes. I know people go through homes and they look at the countertops and the stainless appliances and everything like that, but I really like the small details. So here is one right here. And right above it, so you have a sprinkler head right there. Heads up on sprinkler heads. See that small, like red capsule looking thing in the center of it? The breakage of that is what sets that head off. So it can be broken by anything, heat, if something actually, projected into there and broke it. So if you're ever like at a hotel or something like that and you need to hang something up, don't hang it on the sprinkler, because if you put that hanger up there and it breaks it, your sprinkler is going to go off. And I have heard a story of that happening. So just a heads up on that from experience. Okay, these are shutoff valves. Now, each home has a shutoff valve. It's usually for the main water supply. This particular one is for the sprinkler system. So if you see one of these in a home, make sure you know what it goes to. So here, you've got a gauge and it's showing you the pressure in the system right now. And it is orange, which is typically the color for a sprinkler system. So just wanted to kind of show you that. That's kind of unique to this home and this area. Much of Nolensville has sprinkler systems in the homes. So you just want to kind of know where the shutoff on that is in case there's maintenance or somebody needs to check something. Yeah, look at that height of that ceiling. And, even if you weren't going to do a car lift, or get that extravagant about it, what you can do is put loft storage in there. You've got the racks that hang from the ceiling, and you just can't poke those in anywhere. Sheetrock doesn't hold those up. You actually have to hit the beams. So if you've never installed those, make sure you get somebody that's experienced to install them. Or you can build a loft up there that kind of just hangs off the wall a little bit. Actually, you could go a lot of it in this garage. So if you need additional storage, this garage is perfect for that. Let me just pan around. Got your water heater there. I checked the date on that. That was manufactured in 21. Looks awesome. Got a small door there that goes to the crawl space. And if you're from another area and your homes are mainly built on slab, which is just a concrete slab on the ground, a lot of the homes here are built on crawl spaces, which I actually like because I like crawl spaces. I like to be able to see the plumbing. This one has an actual slab in the crawl space, so it also doubles as a small storage space, which is super convenient. And yes, I like looking at garages. I highly recommend it with every showing. So straight across, we have a linen closet here in the hallway, and then we're right into the primary bedroom. Look at that. Large tray ceiling. Look at the crown molding. Both levels in the tray and at the top of the wall. And I like pointing out things like that. And I know I mention it a lot in videos, but the reason I point that out is really just to remind people to look at all the details in a home. Because if you're looking at, X number of homes, sometimes it's hard to differentiate why one costs one price and another is a different price. And sometimes it's those details, how much crown molding, what size was it? Those things add up. Okay, we'll come back out and look at this panel in just a second because that is very well thought out, but we'll be right back. Let's go check out the primary bathroom here. And see, we've still got that nice, warm, neutral color. And look at that, even in the primary bath. Good crown molding. You've got audio in the ceiling. Looks great. Got your warm granite in here. Have your whirlpool tub with the surrounding deck. And this is going to relate to the panel that I'm going to show you in just a second. Because if you have a tub that is built in a deck, now technically the tub could lift out of there with some work and removing of sealant. But say if you just need something repaired, how do you get to that? That's where that panel comes into play. So for the pump, for the jets, that's how you access it, through the panel out there. And a little foresight like that goes a long way when some maintenance needs to occur. You've got walk-in shower. It goes right into the primary closet. Look at all the storage. All the shelving for folded clothes or shoes. You've got hanging here where you could use it for half height or full length. Looks great. Got the small bars coming out where you can hang clothes temporarily for tomorrow or as you're changing. It's those little details, they all kind of add up. And once somebody starts using a small detail like that, they're like, aha, now I see the value of it. Okay, so just a shot at this panel here. Let me show you how convenient this is. See, it's easy to access the whirlpool pump that way. That is foresight right there, because I have seen plenty where that is not the case. And in order to maintain the whirlpool or anything like that, you end up taking tile off. So that is wonderful foresight right there. So again, this is the primary bedroom. This is the right rear corner of the home. Look at that. Just look at the light coming in. Just show you a little bit of the backyard there. And again, this looks into community green space. Look at that, isn't that nice? Going back toward the living space, living room and dining. We're going to head upstairs. Okay, just came upstairs at least part way. And I find this is a really cool design element. You know, quite often you'll see stairs that are called switchback, which means, you know, it comes up one direction, you hit a landing, and then you continue upwards. And so usually that's the full set of stairs, but in this case, the first section of the stairs takes you to part of the home. So it's kind of split level in this area. And look where it takes you. Look at the size of this bonus room. So this would be over the garage, and which is quite common for what in this area are called bonus rooms. So quite often the size of the bonus room is kind of dependent on the size of the garage. And a lot of that is kind of goes back to that it's how the home is framed and how loads are transferred, and it just becomes a convenient and efficient way to design it if you're going to frame it, you know, with the same footprint as the garage. But look at this. Love the sconces on the wall. You've got 2 ceiling fans. Look at that audio wall. Look at that. You could load that up with a TV, put all your audio equipment below. Plenty of shelves for games or anything you want to do up here. And the size of the room, I mean, just think of size of the sectional you could put in here. You could even kind of subdivide this room a little bit if you wanted. You know, you could put like a sectional over there with your TV, and then, you know, game tables, you know, shuffleboard, probably even a pool table. Probably not all of those, but just giving you some options there. That's spectacular. I just like the way the staircase presents itself. You know, you come up just part way, then you have the switchback staircase, but right here on the landing, you've got the bonus room. And you'll probably notice as we're going, look at the condition of the floors. They're spectacular. And the base molding is too. So we're up on the second level, and this is where we're going to find the secondary bedrooms. And up on this landing, you know, this is such a creative space. You know, you can do everything from a reading station here. You could put a desk up here and just have like an open air office. It overlooks the foyer, part of the living room. this is a really creative space right here. So if we come around, we're going to go into the secondary bedrooms. And again, you're going to see, they continued through with that same warm paint color, which is spectacular. I mean, it goes with everything. Got your large closet there, double doors, deep closet. Now, if we're filming a home that's furnished, quite often I'll suggest to people the bed size or nightstand size or something like that in the room to kind of give them some type of reference on room size, even though they have measurements, on the MLS listing or wherever the person's looking at it. Sometimes a visual reference. Well, with this one not being furnished in these rooms, doors are another thing to kind of give you the size reference. So if you just look at, you've got the 2 closet doors and you also have the entry door. That just shows you how wide that wall is and how large this secondary bedroom is. So now we're into another secondary. This one is on the rear side of the home. Look at that ceiling. You have a combination of a vault and a tray. Got the ceiling fan there. Beautiful. Consistent with the paint color. People are looking at homes too. We had a lot of hardwood downstairs. We had the hardwood here on the landing when we came upstairs, tile in the bathrooms. But look at that carpet. Now, carpet is one of those things when people are looking at homes, they're looking at the condition of it. Will they have to clean it? Will they even have to replace it? Let me tell you, this carpet is spectacular. And the condition is great. I mean, this is move-in ready. Walk-in closet there. Now you also have this bathroom setup. Sometimes it's shared bathroom. Sometimes you might call it, Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill might, depend if it's connecting to 2 bedrooms. Everybody wants to define them a little differently. So I am just going to go with shared bathroom on this one. How about that? So it is connected by door to the bedroom we just walked out of. And this one also serves the common area. So for instance, if you came up stairs on that landing, you would then have access through this other door to this bathroom. And so that would also serve the bonus room that we were just in. So say you had game night and people were over, this would be the bathroom that would serve those guests. Looks perfect. Nice mirror, like how big the mirror is. Big mirrors, they not only serve you well, just for practical purposes, but they just make the room nice and bright, and it just looks bigger. Tubs are really good condition. Got your curved shower curtain bar there. I remember when those first started hitting the market. It was like a revelation of what curving a bar could do. It all of a sudden gave you so much more room in a shower. See, look at that carpet. Isn't that nice? Great condition. Perfect color too. Goes great with the molding color and the wall color. Here you've got your vault ceiling fan. And again, just to kind of use the doors for size reference. When there's furniture in a room, you can kind of judge by bed size, but you can see how many doors wide that is. We talk a lot about this as well. I thoroughly appreciate still photographs of homes. I have a photography background, and so I have a super high appreciation for those. But the cool thing about video, or any type of walkthrough format, is that it lets you see how the rooms are connected. You know, you've got different versions of that. You know, you've got walkthrough video, you know, you've got like Matterport type of technology. And what that does is kind of let you walk through a virtual tour. So whatever it is, it's always nice to see how the rooms are actually connected. Large closet there, double door, deep. Now this bathroom is also a shared bathroom, so it connects between 2 bedrooms. So here you have a door configuration. You've got double sink vanity. Plenty of storage in there. Look at that. Look how long that vanity is. Big plate glass mirror. Looks awesome. Just a note on the doors. If you also notice, this shared bathroom also has a door to the shower area. So it could be that somebody was showering and somebody from the other bedroom is here getting ready at the vanity. So that is nice how they divided that. So just to recap the layout, we came up the stairs. You have 1, 2 secondaries on that side of the home. There's a shared bathroom right there that the 2 bedrooms and the common area like the bonus room share. You pan left and you have 2 secondary bedrooms right here, and they both share that bathroom on that side. Just to kind of recap and give you some notes about the layout. Those floors are in awesome condition. And it's a great color too, you know, it's a great universal color that goes with most everything. So go back down to the main level. Okay, so just return to the main level, down the main staircase. Just gonna take you through the living room and dining room again. Take another look at the kitchen because everybody likes looking at kitchens. So everybody always wants to recap the kitchen. But look at that cabinet design. Kind of have the bubble glass in there. Could even put some lights in there. Again, you've got your 5-burner gas cooktop. It's always nice to have a window near the sink too. Kind of depends on the layout. Some homes you just have a ton of light without that positioning, or maybe the sink is going to be in the island. But it is nice when that alignment occurs. Yeah, there are those double ovens again. I heard you talking about it. Even the end of this island, look at that. You could even put a few bar stools here for those snack times. Okay, so your kitchen aligns with that beautiful backyard. So let's go take a look at that. Look at that. Comes right out onto this incredible rear porch. Got your stained beadboard going on. Got recessed lighting, got your fan. Got an aggregate surface with 2 stairs sets downward. Even have some curtain rods there, even if you want to start putting curtains up and kind of creating your own space. Curtain rods up here too. See, it's those little things, you know, they're already installed. You pick out your favorite curtains, hang them, have your own seclusion right here on the patio in the back porch. And again, the lot is about a 1/4 acre or so, but it opens up to community space, which just makes the lot look much bigger. And the bonus, like I mentioned, you're not paying direct property taxes on that. and you're not having to mow it. Win-win. Look at that. It's almost like a park back here. Isn't that incredible? Imagine mornings and evenings out here. Okay, so what'd you think about that one? Again, it is 1005 Brittain Downs Drive, and that is right here in the Brittain Downs community in Nolensville, Tennessee. The size of the home is just over 3,700 square feet. You got 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. The primary is on the main level, and that's pretty important to a lot of people, so I'd like to mention that. If you have any questions at all about this home or really anything real estate related, my name again is Sean Larson, real estate broker here in Middle Tennessee and the 38 Florida market, and I would be more than happy to answer all the questions you have. I hope you have a fantastic day.